okay, now that the MCU has stumbled a bit, a lot of people are looking at the DCU and saying, is it possible 2025 Superman Legacy and then going on there, could DC officially start sort of a takeover where it's been long enough and maybe these projects come out, there's enough that they could effectively swap places where DCU's the one on the rise and MCU struggling?
Yeah, no, they'd have to take a lot for
Yeah.
that to
Oh yeah,
happen
I
currently.
don't think they're
Yeah.
going to usurp the spunk, to be honest.
But yeah, because well, you like to think people would forget, but that they don't forget about the first time they tried that their own universe, and most of the projects that are coming out are going to be compared to the past and whether or not that they actually did a good job.
Mm. Like Superman Legacy has an uphill battle.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It's got a weird one as well, right? You have the casuals that didn't really give a crap about Man of Steel, but then you got the
No, they cared
really
about
want
Superman, but it was only the actor for some weird reason that they
Yeah.
cared.
Yeah, it's in a unique spot, and I
It
don't
is.
envy that movie, James Gunn at all, to be honest.
Which,
So
you know, looking at this whole thing, like, I want the DCU to succeed. Trust me. I wish that they can come out and go, oh, you know what? That Swamp Thing movie you didn't think was going to be big? Guess what? That made $600 million. What now? Swamp Thing, household. I want that because it would make the MCU try even harder. Sony would still be licking glue sticks in the corner, doing Morbius 2 or whatever, because they're not going to smarten up. But like the people say, oh, the DCU can suddenly win. Even if they pull out 5 victories in a row, the next Avengers film is a surefire $2 billion hit. Like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know.
I
I really don't know about that anymore.
with the multiverse and the moment you toss Hugh Jackman on that poster, you got that 2B coming, you know?
I mean, there is that side, right? But I think we're in such a different landscape at the minute that I really don't know how.
I think it could reach it, but they'd basically have to bring back everyone again.
Which Secret Wars is going to do, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's literally the plot of that movie. But I know I shouldn't question it, but I'm questioning it.
Here's the fun trick here. By the end of the multiverse saga, the people who know how to read will be excited for the conclusion of the story that's been told over these last 3 phases. The soups of the world will be excited because flashing colors and, oh, I remember that actor.
Mm.
And then the naysayers will get to be like, and Marvel fixed it because they did the thing that we said they should do, which is everything. You know? So everyone's going to be happy by the end of the day. The issue with the DC universe is that they're late to the party because of a lot of unforced errors on the part of WB and Snyder, and all of that is well litigated. We don't need to talk about it. But they're coming in at this point where people are already having questions about superhero or franchise fatigue, which is like its own weird bag of cats. But you have to then recognize these are, for most people, new characters. Like, let's just take a moment and recognize your average person is more familiar with dark-in versions of Superman than they are Superman.
And none of them, I guarantee, know who Booster Gold is. I'm sorry. So
yeah.
So
you have the booster element. You have a little bit of name cachet with Peacemaker and Cena, but for the most part, these are new waters. And explaining to people who these characters actually are when they're not pouting about the idea of even being a hero. So I think that, I don't know if it's going to usurp it. I think there might be a new shiny toy element at play. Just because it's the beginning of a story.
Yeah.
For everybody.
And what you said about that people were more accustomed to having dark versions of their characters. It kind of makes me sad because that's what they associate Superman with, which is that he doesn't want to be a hero.
I mean, but
To me, it's just that Superman embodies that he sees the best in everyone and he just wants to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But apparently, people think that's boring and that
Like, who was that
you
actor?
shouldn't have
just
a hero
Just
like
watch
that.
Invincible. Look, at the end of the day, if Superman, if no one watches a new Superman movie, just watch Invincible.
Yeah.
It's
But like,
perfect Superman. Right
who
there.
was that just actor recently who was interviewed and he was like, "Oh, I
Jake
wouldn't."
Euphoria guy.
yeah.
He wouldn't audition for Superman because he was like, "Superman's a dark character." It's like, bro,
I genuinely think he's taking the piss with that.
he might on it, but also there is this perception. Like, I have friends, and they're casuals, and I'm like, "Oh, I can't wait for Superman Legacy." They're like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh, no. Superman's like bright, fun," and then they automatically think Batman v Superman, or like the opposite of that, the direct opposite. They think Batman and Robin. I'm like, "Oh, no, like." There's a fine line
You
Superman
need that
walks.
middle ground.
Yeah, that's his line, and like, I do think that the last 15 years and the combo of Man of Steel and Injustice have done damage to Superman because
100%,
an entire
yeah.
generation of kids have grown up with those two versions being the most popular, and it's really sad. And they got an uphill battle with the DCU, like, and some of these projects they announced, bold, I will say that, but at the same time, do they move the needle? Like, I don't see a world in which where Lanterns becomes the next zeitgeist like Game of Thrones. I do not see that happening. I'm sorry. Like,
Well, I think this is the thing that I think you got to go back to. Obviously, it's slightly differently because the history of it, but you have to go back to like the Iron Man 1, like go back to 2008. Like they're at that point. When they announced Guardians in 2012, you had the whole, this is going to be the end of everything, like a talking tree and raccoon, who cares? Like, they want Lanterns to be their guardians. So I think you just got to give them that little bit of leeway in the box office as well.
Yeah.
Because not everything before Avengers didn't do great, right? So they're just going to have to, whether, Zaslav gives them the leg room to actually slowly build up that box office and get people on side, who knows? But I think they just need that little bit of leg room because they're not where the MCU is right now. They're in a completely different spot, but
yeah,
is the casual going to do that? I don't know.
That's the biggest.
That's what they need.
Like, I don't get the people that are like, superhero fatigue is real. The DCU's gonna save us. Hate to break it to you, but that's also a superhero movie. Weird, but yeah. I don't know.
People don't have opinions. People just hear someone say one thing and then repeat that.
That's true.
That's all it is. No one actually knows what they want. They just want to say MCU bad, superheroes bad.
Oh, so I said the joke louder.
Yeah.
Remark.
It's crazy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to end that